So in the last video, we looked at what A tells us and what B tells us. So A gives us our y-intercept, our starting value, and B controls kind of two things. One is the steepness of the graph, and then whether our graph is decreasing or increasing. So given that knowledge, what I'd like you to do is pause the video, and I want you to try numbers 3 and 4. So you want to look and see what value is changing here, whether it's A or B. And then use that to identify which one of these graphs are F, G, H, or in this case also K. So go ahead, pause the video, give those a try, and we'll come back and talk about it. Okay, so let's take a look at number 3. So when I look at number 3, I know that y is equal to ab to the x. And what I notice is that b is constant. I'm going to mark that down that b is constant, and I'm going to identify the a values I have. So I have a is equal to 1, a is equal to 3, and a is equal to 6. And I know that what a does is it controls my y-intercept. So it tells me where I'm going to cross the y-axis. So the one that crosses the lowest is at a equals 1. So that would be here. That makes this function f. G crosses at a equals 3, and H crosses at a equals 6. So it's reasonable to assume that this is 1, this is 3, and this is 6. And so this was F, that makes this one G, and this one H. Okay, so we've identified those ones. And then number 4, here I have y equals ab to the x, and my a is all 2. So my a is constant here. And it's my b that's changing. So b is 1.3, b is 2.3, b is 0.8, and b is 0.5. Okay. These first two, my b is greater than 1, so I know it's increasing. So that means that these two over here, this one is pretty steep, this one's not as steep. These are going to be either F or G. Okay, those are my two increasing ones. And the way I decide which one is which is the bigger that B is here on the increasing side, the steeper or faster it's going to increase. So that means this is G and this is F here. And in these bottom two, B is between 0 and 1, which means they're decreasing, which would be these two here. Okay. And what we know about this is that the closer B is to 1, kind of the shallower this is going to be. And the closer B is to 0, the steeper it's going to fall off. Okay, so you can kind of think of it as the closer you are to 1, kind of the flatter or slower it's going. So whether you're slightly below 1 or slightly above 1, it's going to be flatter. The further you're away from 1, so if you're looking at 2, 3, 4, or you're getting really close to 0, then the steeper it's going to be. So this one was 0.5. This is the steepest decreasing one, so this is K, which makes this one H.